Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Pierre-Alban Vilain and I have the pleasure to work as the segment leaders for Hitachi Energy here in France. I'm very happy, very excited to be on stage this afternoon to take part of this event. It was and it is so far a great day. We can feel all the good energy, all the positive vibes from many representatives of the offshore wind industry and from various stakeholders. And that's good because we will need this positive energy to make happen what we have in front of us. We all know these challenges. It's about net zero target, it's about decarbonization of the full energy system and so on and so forth. So the question that I will try to answer in the next 10 to 15 minutes is how to accelerate in offshore wind at the scale and speed that is required. To do so, I will try to share views, to share insights, to share thoughts as perceived by Hitachi Energy. And to start with, just a few words about Hitachi Energy, who we are. We are a global technology company. We design, we engineer, we manufacture, we install, and we maintain the electrical system that is required to connect offshore wind farms to the grid. In other words, we make it possible to collect the output of these wind farms and to convey this power to the grid. It's a critical building block of an offshore wind project because as long as your project is not connected to the grid, you do not earn any money back from the power that is generated. We are also a technology leader. We have a long experience in offshore wind and we have a strong track record both in the hardware and software fields. Just a few figures to illustrate, globally it's 38 gigawatts of offshore substations that are energized thanks to our products, and it's also 25 gigawatts of installation of installed capacity that are monitored, controlled by our software suite. And our offering is really hand-to-hand. I guess it's a point that is very valuable and valid to be mentioned. We are able to support and to help an offshore wind project at each and every stage of the development, from opportunity screening to the operations. If we start on the left side, when it's come to the feasibility stage, we're able to provide the advisory and consulting services that make it possible to significantly de-risk offshore wind projects. And it's not only about the optimal technology choice. That's important to select between AC versus DC to define the most appropriate design for this electrical system, the most appropriate equipment and so on and so forth. But that is also very important to make sure that the grid code requirements will be fulfilled, to confirm also the business cases of these offshore wind projects. And the business cases is also about the planning and the budget to make the offshore wind project viable. So this piece and the first part on the left side of this slide is all the know-how that we can bring at early stage to de-risk offshore wind projects and avoid major issues that will then pop up later and create larger issues. When it's come to the connection to the grid between the generation and the distribution, we have a complete package that we are able to provide to make your project run, including the transformers, the switches, the automation piece of the substation, and so on and so forth. And last but not least, on the other side of this slide, you have all the services that we're able to bring during the lifetime of your assets. These services are both physical, it's about installation, commissioning, maintenance, and so on and so forth. And it's also about digital services to run your assets in the most optimal manner. Now, our belief is that time is for action. It was reminded this morning by the French Ministry of Energy. We have in front of us something massive to make it happen. And France, on that matter, has a unique localization. We are at the crossroads of three very dynamic areas for offshore wind. You know them all by heart. We have the Northern Sea, we have the Atlantic coast, we have the Mediterranean Sea. always very different, very specific conditions to make all these offshore wind farms running in the most appropriate manner. And so, as of today, we are here. We have only a few gigawatts of offshore wind that is deployed, and we will need in the next years, in the next decades, to climb these major and significant steps to succeed the energy transition that we want to achieve. How to be successful, how to achieve this roadmap that is quite ambitious. Here we believe that the Olympic motto could be a good source of inspiration. The Olympic motto is faster, higher, stronger together, and we believe that it could also apply to the challenges that we have in front of us when it comes to offshore wind. Let us start with faster. To be faster, we believe that standardization will be instrumental. What does this mean for electrical system? It means to work and to rely on basic standardized modules that are pre-engineered, prefabricated, and pre-tested in factories. To have, at the end, almost plug-and-play Legos that could be plugged into the offshore substation, into the topside in a faster way. So it relies on a basic design which can be then adjusted and which is also scalable to reach the range that you can see on this slide between 200 megawatts to 2 gigawatts. The benefits of such an approach is double. The first one is to reduce the overall timeline by squeezing the time that is required first during the engineering, but also during the installation of such modules, and then also to improve significantly the risk profile of the offshore wind project. Because the sooner you detect a possible issue, a possible problem of these modules, the better and the less will be the impact on the overall project. It will minimize the impact of such risks. To go higher, it's a good idea to go further from the shores. It makes it possible to go in some areas where the wind conditions are better and are more suitable for offshore wind farms. It's also where you may have the space and the room to develop and to install larger wind farms, as they will be further from the shores. A few words about floating offshore wind farms and floating applications. Hitachi Energy is well on track in general qualification of this equipment for floating application. Hitachi Energy also masters the design process to make and to deliver this kind of solution that are optimal at the end. This is a co-design process because it's an iterative one. It needs to find the right balance between the floaters and the mechanical constraints that will apply to this equipment. And this is something that will be, and it's something that we will be more than happy to further investigate for some floating offshore wind projects to find the optimum dedicated to some specific floating area. And then stronger. It would be a pity to talk about strong electricity networks without saying a word about HVDC. HVDC will be a key enabler for offshore wind farms and to scale the grid connection of the offshore wind farms. About this technology is mature and already well proven. HVDC projects have been already implemented and deployed now for decades. It is also true that to meet the quite high market demand that we are facing at the moment, we will need to find new business and execution models with our partners. And on this matter, we have been very proud to announce very recently this success with the German and Dutch TSO, TenneT, to develop a framework agreement, the first of its kind in history, to develop a 2 gigawatt program that will make it possible to reach the ambitious targets that they have in the Northern Sea. This kind of new business and execution models will rely on mutual commitment, mutual agreement from both sides. For the customer, a way to secure the supply, and for Hitachi Energy, a way also to get the visibility that is required to plan, to invest, and to expand our HVDC capabilities. We are also preparing the futures when it comes to HVDC, and we are also very proud to take part of the Interopera project, which is under the coordination of the French Institute Supergrid, to prepare the future of this system. Our HVDC systems are growing as mushrooms. We will need to think about the interoperability of these various systems, and this is already something that we are working on to be ready in due time. All in all, and to conclude, there's a few takeaways that I would like to share and to convey during this presentation is, first, Hitachi Energy is fully committed and mobilizing to make happen the energy transition that we need. It will require to develop with key stakeholders earlier engagement to make sure that we develop, we implement, and we work on the optimal solutions to fit the various projects that may happen in offshore wind. We also strongly believe that technology will not be a bottleneck. We are ready, and we are already future-proofing new use cases. It's the case for HVDC, it's also the case for floating applications. What will be most critical is the capacity allocation to reach and to climb the different steps that I was showing earlier. It will require to have strategic planification with key stakeholders and to think about new business models to secure the supply chains on both ways. These are the key messages that I was very happy to share with you. More than happy to continue and to follow the discussion on our booth, B26, if you want to raise any questions or continue the discussion. Thank you for your attention.